Welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us today. We're here at beautiful Lucas Hall here at the Levy School of Business at Santa Clara University. We're going to talk to you a little bit today about our Master's in Science and Business Analytics program. It's one of 5 programs that we have here at Santa Clara and in the business school for graduate education. We hope that we're going to answer a few questions for you, but be sure to look on our website or contact one of our admissions folks because they can definitely give you any details that you might have. Why don't you introduce yourself for just a sec?
Sure. I'm Jeff Lupker. I was in the second cohort of MSBA, so I graduated in December of 2018. I'm originally from Michigan. I moved out here to go to grad school, and I've stayed out here since. So it's beautiful. There's lots of opportunities here, and I've found a job that I've enjoyed so far.
So you already sort of gave away that you're not originally from California. Why did you choose to go to Santa Clara then?
I was born on the West Coast. Part of me always wanted to come back. I miss the mountains, I miss the ocean, I miss no humidity. The sunshine is great, but also the opportunity here. Being from the Midwest is wonderful, and I love a lot of things about it, but when you work in data and tech, this is kind of the place to be. And so being kind of in the central of Silicon Valley with all the opportunities here, it seemed like kind of the perfect marriage between a great education and plentiful opportunities.
Yeah, we definitely are lucky enough to live and work in a place that's really dynamic and is on the cutting edge of a lot of data analysis, but also a lot of innovation when it comes to that. Maybe you could share with people a little bit about your career journey since you've graduated, since it's been a little while, and give them a sense for how the program prepared you for what you're doing now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was hired by a startup a couple months before I graduated. Actually, I was very fortunate. Working a lot in data engineering, data architecture, and data analytics. I was at that startup for about 9 months, and then we were fortunate enough to be acquired by Intuit, which is a great big tech company here in the Valley. So I've been there for now about 2 years. Doing a lot of kind of data intangibles. So
that sounds fun.
It sounds very fun, and a lot of things that I learned through the program have helped. You'll learn that there's kind of no one size fits all kind of use for data. There's lots of different tracks that you can have. There's lots of uses and problems and questions that need to be answered, and so I do a lot of those things that some things I expected and a lot of things I didn't expect, but I feel like I got a lot of good training to help me succeed.
That's really cool. It's one of the things that I talk to students about when they're considering the MSBA program is to think about the fact that no matter what discipline you're in or what domain you're in a business, you're talking about marketing, you're talking about finance, you're talking about operations, any of those places have data, and we're generating more and more data as we go. Yeah. So there's more and more need for people to understand how to take things that are sort of unshaped, unformed, and frame them and extract good insights from them.
Yeah.
Maybe you could talk a little bit about highlights, favorite class,
sure.
Something along the lines of what you liked best about the program.
Yeah. So I had originally, before I came to grad school, I worked in digital marketing and did analytics kind of in that realm. And I knew that there was more that could be done. So I have a background in math, but I did a lot of things in like Excel with pivot tables, and I kind of became an Excel ninja and wizard. But I knew that there was a lot more in the power of data with some advanced modeling, machine learning, artificial intelligence, exactly, coding. So I really wanted to dig more into that stuff. And so, of course, there are classes, and there are a handful of them on modeling, machine learning, deep learning that were a lot of fun, which were the kind of things that I wanted to learn. But then there's a lot of flexibility. So there was a class on like blockchain and fintech innovations. There's classes on time series and forecasting modeling. I was fortunate enough to be allowed to take some MBA classes about like venture capital. That's really kind of neat. So you're not necessarily boxed into, you have to take these classes. There are certainly things that you will want to take if you want to come into the program, but there are lots and lots of options that are great depending on what you're interested in.
That's a great point. Something that people don't necessarily think about when they're considering their program is that you don't have to think narrowly about the program. Once you get through your core courses, the electives are the electives of the program, but we have a variety of MS programs that offer the kinds of electives that you were talking about that add breadth if that's what you want, or you can go deep into data analytics only if that's what you prefer. One of the things that I always hear from students, or especially just as they're about to begin the program, is, how are they going to balance their schedule? What does time management really look like? So could you say, what that looked like for you?
Yeah, so I actually worked part-time while I was in the program, so I had a very full plate.
Yep.
Luckily, the classes are all in the evenings, and there's no classes on Friday, so it was very busy. I do better when I have a lot on my plate, so it was a lot of
structure.
It was a lot of waking up early, working until probably shortly after lunch, early afternoon, and then coming in. Classes start around 5, 6, something like that. So come in, do a few hours of work before. Usually there are some late nights. Classes could end 8, 9 o'clock. So staying up to do some work after, lots of work on the weekends, but not a lot of time for free time. But still very valuable. I mean, it's what I wanted to do. I learned a lot. I had a lot of fun. So it's work, but it's worth it.
It sounds like there was a lot of flexibility too, meaning that because the courses occurred in the evening, that gave you time to really sort of figure out how you could do all the things and balance everything.
Yeah, exactly. The days are kind of free and open in a sense, so it's easy to collaborate with people, around lunchtimes, early afternoons. I was fortunate where work was very flexible and allowed me to take time off if I had a big project or an exam or something like that coming up. But yeah, having classes in the evenings is really nice, and kind of a flip from if you're an undergrad or if you've been working for a few years where you're used to waking up early and kind of getting after it. Having them in the evening is kind of nice, so then you have the full day to kind of prepare and get ready.
Yeah, that makes sense. Jeff's program was the evening program. We also have an online MSBA program, and it has flexibility, but just sort of in a different way, a different flavor, if you will. So instead of courses being held in the evening, everything is asynchronous in the online program. So you actually even have more flexibility to do the coursework when it fits with your schedule. And every week has certain assignments, discussion boards, collaborative work with groups, but you work toward your schedule to make sure that you accomplish everything that you need by the end of the week. Let's see. Could you talk a little bit about maybe the on-campus resources you used? There's things like career, or their clubs, or networking. I don't know what really resonated with you and what made a difference for your time there.
Yeah, the career fairs were definitely helpful. Getting to talk with different companies. They had some that were like specific to what we were doing. They had some that were more general. I feel like the program and all the advisors and folks in the admissions office did a great job of, here's what you need to do. There's like resume prep that they kind of walk you through to help you get that settled and kind of organized so that prospective employers kind of see the things that they need to and what can make you really stand out. There were some early clubs that were started up. Of course, I was in the second cohort, so I feel like we were kind of getting things up and running, but it was fun where we could kind of make it our own, and the program office was great at kind of giving us the resources or helping us kind of guide us as we look to advance something. So
that makes sense. We've heard a lot from our students about the value of the career services that we have, especially for students like yourself who are sort of earlier in their career or making a career pivot. That you have the opportunity to have an expert eye look at your resume, or have somebody walk you through, okay, let's think about what your goals are and then what the implications are for how you position yourself in front of an employer, given what your career goals are. So it's good to hear that was actually valuable.
Definitely.
What advice would you give someone who's thinking about starting their program, or who's on the precipice of starting their MSBA?
Yeah, I would say if you really have an interest in all things data analytics, data engineering, even kind of any kind of scope within data, right? There's lots of different careers and opportunities. This was a really great program. I looked at a handful of programs, and I felt like this kind of had the best kind of combination of what I was looking for in terms of like modeling classes, electives. There's the practicum program where we work with actual businesses to solve real problems, so it's not just kind of like abstracting within the classroom. Also, of course, the location being connected to so many businesses here. The university is, and they're kind of right down the street in the neighborhood, which is really helpful. I would say you learn the basics of what you need to know. The program is fairly quick, which I kind of liked. It's accelerated.
That's right.
It was only 15 months. Is it still 15
Mm-hmm.
months? And so it gives you all the pieces you need, but you kind of get in what you put out. So there's a lot of kind of knowledge that you'll still need to do. You need to continue to sharpen the tools and kind of do your research and keep learning, but it kind of gives you everything that you need to get started in whatever kind of career you want.
Thanks so much, Jeff. So you heard it from him, but I'll say it again. If you have a real interest in data, all things data, this program is intensive, it's flexible, and it gives you the opportunity to have a foundation across the board in a variety of data analytic tools, as well as take advantage of electives that would either broaden that scope or go deep in an interest that you have. So thank you everybody for joining us today. Remember, you can look at our website online in order to find out more about the MSBA program here at Santa Clara University, and click like if you like this.